Here's a matchup that promises to titillate and excite. We've got Kislev versus Slaanesh here, submitted by Ryder Brohan, and Golden Knight Nariska Lesa is guarding Tsarina here. Katarine herself coming in cold as ice. And some Zargard here in the front line, including a Zargard great weapon. One shielded Zargard as well. Kislev warriors out on the flanks, couple in the back as well. Couple of dervishes, 3 in fact, and 2 ice guard blades with a single Kossar. Very interesting and good combined arms from Kislev. Got everything you need in this build. Facing them is also a pretty potent Slaanesh build. I've been seeing a lot of Slaanesh Forsaken recently, which is just great. Super fun unit. Love Forsaken, always have. And got Fiends to back them up. 1 melee devotee to keep things honest, and some Hellstriders out on the flank here, along with some Furies in the back. Sorcerer of Slaanesh getting a nice overcast Death Frost at long range. Gonna do some great direct damage to him on his steed. Be a very reliable way for Kislev to deal damage to him. You can see that was about a quarter HP. Granted, it's a pretty expensive spell to be casting, but let's see how it can do here. Katarine also charging in the front line with Nariska. Do some nice anti-infantry damage, but Slaanesh Slap and Fiends coming in on the other side. Those dervishes and Kislev warriors not having a great time in that particular engagement. Zargard weapons also clean up theirs while taking some pretty impressive damage, but Slaanesh, appropriately enough, just collapsing the flanks here and dealing massive damage to units on the side. That being said, By Our Blood, of course, is going to pop on these units, allow them to hold for that extra few seconds longer, which can definitely be the difference in a close game. So let's see. We've got some Slangors came in from the Vanguard as well, and some Seekers of Slaanesh. Looking to do a quick hit and run there, disengage before they get too caught up in a big melee engagement. Slaanesh devotees also shooting at the Ice Guards, which is good play here from a value perspective. Ice Guards don't have any missile resistance. They've got some armor, but just in general, the very efficient use of the damage of the devotees with their relatively limited ammunition. Katarina would also be a very good target to shoot at here, but does she actually get straight up Guardian? I believe with Nariska here, yeah, it's basically Guardian plus immunity to flanking, incredibly strong. But with that extra physical resistance, the devotees will be doing slightly less damage, although probably still the best to actually just shoot at Katarine here, and you can see they are focus firing there now. Katarine, though, cleaning up some Fiends there, the magic attacks. Well, actually, no, Frostworm doesn't have magic attacks, interestingly enough. Instead, going to be rear charging here, along with the Kislev warriors. Seekers of Slaanesh taking quite a bit of damage, but 1 Fiend still relatively healthy, and this Slangor also just mowing down some damage right now, very quickly racking up value against some lighter infantry targets, especially if the Slangors could get into the Ice Guard glaives. That would be a really nice trade for Slaanesh here, but Seekers very quickly run out of health and leadership and just pop. Zargard barely holding. By Our Blood probably going to be putting in some pretty great work here. Right now, they're technically still wavering. But Soprik Musk, Acquiescence, Narcissism, lots of debuffs being used here to try and pin Katarine in and do some damage to her. Fiends do kind of focus on her quite a bit, but that leaves them open to attacks from the Kislev warriors and from the Golden Knight, who does actually have magic damage. She will be a great damage dealer against these low armor demons that rely on their physical resistance. All Slaanesh units, of course, have some level of physical resistance. Adjust my mic a little bit there. And watch Katarine and Nariska try and hold out here. By Our Blood, again, putting in some pretty serious work as those Kislev warriors hold, but devotees out of ammunition and use their dual swords to move in, try and finish off these Zargards here. Take a little rear charge from the Kossars. Is not going to do too much, or the dervishes rather. Meanwhile, in the front line, what's left of it at least, yeah, the multi-model units of Kislev end up pretty much getting rounded off by the Forsaken and the Slangors here. Comes down to just single entities. That immune to flanking going to be very important. But There is a little bit of anti-large left, and the Fiends also still have about a quarter of their HP online, about half their unit models, so they can move in and get a pretty nice surround here. And Katarine's definitely in some very, very serious trouble. Nariska is within range to confer that extra physical resistance. Let's see, yep, and the immunity to flanking, which is also putting in some pretty serious work right now. But let's see if it's going to be enough for Katarine to hold here. Another Death Frost. Why the, there we go. UI's not popping up there. Yeah, I've been having to use some of these wind spells as well. I don't know 100% what's going on with the UI today, but anyway. Yeah. Let's see how the endgame plays out. The cycle charging, of course, of the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Very, very strong, even with speed debuffs active. The speed of that steed, unmatched. He has all the power in the world to just cycle charge, even if he gets hit by the Frostbite, Nariska or Katarine. Nariska moves forward, though, is going to try and apply single entity pressure. Oh yeah, manages to get out in space, get away from the surround here. By Our Blood pops on Katarine's, going to allow her to hold for just a second longer. Maybe like one more attack here. Let's see the pathing on the steed. Slaanesh Lord manages to mostly get away there. But By Our Blood still holding Katarine on the battlefield for the time being. Looks like it drops there. Just going to throw down one last wind spell before she most likely goes down. Wow, down to 2 HP. Katarine somehow holds. Nope, there she goes. Felled by melee devotees, or the devotees in melee, rather. Nariska is all that's left. Pride of Kislev, I say she's all that's left. There actually are a handful of ice guards over here as well that are currently getting mown down by Forsaken. But Nariska's going to try and keep the pressure on. You know, whatever high-value units she can get her paws on. Right now, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord wisely just staying away. Nariska has no choice but to just try and stand and fight here. He does get hit by an Acquiescence. Melee defense will be significantly down. Takes a nasty rear charge there. Let's see. Well, bounce power is giving it to Kislev a little bit, just based on the power of Nariska as a duelist. And if you compare her stats, I mean, the Acquiescence is putting in a lot of work right now, as is the Soporific Musk, but even still, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, tired as he is, only has 36 melee attack, 55 defense. Things are looking a little bit dicey in that way. But some nice screening here, trying to get an opportunity to cycle charge a little bit. Nariska, of course, with Frostbite will apply that and slow. Yeah, down to 66 speed, or 85 speed? No, 66 speed, once the Frostbite actually hits, maybe? Let's see, we'll keep the Slaanesh Lord's unit card up for the time being, so we can kind of see as he does get hit. Right now, it looks like a lot of Nariska's attacks going into those Forsaken. But now, keeps kind of getting pushed away as well. Animations of the steed definitely putting in some pretty serious work here. But, okay, so Nariska's actually 66 speed. That Frostbite not really helping a ton in this instance. But let's see, is the Sorcerer Lord trying to get back to some reinforcements? Yeah, I don't know why all the buttons are broken right now. There we go. Something weird going on there. And now, finally, the Duel of the Fates. All the multi-model units gone. The Sorcerer Lord is forced to fight in melee. He's stuck in a casting animation. Looks like he did pop that Acquiescence once again to try and get the melee defense debuff. And just for suspense, let's get rid of the unit cards here. Just watch these two beautifully crafted single entity characters fight. Nariska the Legendary against this generic Slaanesh Sorcerer. Those foul magics. Okay, let's take a look here. Ooh, By Our Blood pops. For Nariska, she pops Ursun's Claw, though, which is going to put the Frozen Contact effect on, which will just completely hard snare Chaos Sorcerer Lord, not allow him to escape. She's down to 35 HP. All that's left at this point is dice rolls. Can she get it done? Wow. Wow, she actually routs the Slaanesh Lord while under the effect of Bayar blood, essentially having been army lost. Ryder Rohan manages to clutch one of the closest victories I've seen, maybe ever, definitely in quite some time. Absolutely the closest victory so far of 2026. But, wow, yeah, very impressive stuff. Nariska doesn't actually get a huge amount of raw value in herself, but still manages to get back in the end of the game, and also give some support value to Arena, helping her survive a little bit longer, especially in that late game where she was surrounded. And in general, Bayar Blood definitely put in some work just kind of across the board here. Zargard gets some good value. The Ice Guard Glaives, not quite what you would want given their cost, but still they managed to put in some work. The Kislev Warriors, they're quite cost effective in this circumstance. One of the dervishes also pays for themselves, which is nice to see for a low tier light cavalry. Slaanesh, Steed, Sorcerer, Lord, super strong choice. How's that for alliteration? Sigvald would be absolutely proud. Both the Forsaken, or all four of the Forsaken, I should say, put in some pretty good work. I like them decent amount in this matchup. One of them doesn't quite pay for themselves. The Slangors coming in from the flank with the Steel Chair, get some great value. 1600 value on the Devotees. They managed to get some high value shots. Definitely did some damage to Tsarina. And decent value from the Seekers. They pretty much pay for themselves as well. The Fiends is maybe the one part where Kaiju's build didn't quite live up to what it needed to do. I mean, ultimately, literally could have come down to different dice rolls there at the end, and either player would have won. So I would essentially call that a draw in terms of the player, the play on in the battle on the field. But definitely a fun one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I know I sure did. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button every time I upload a new video. You'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.